Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to be checking out 5 of the 2023 LEGO Speed Champion sets. We've got a Porsche, Ferrari, a Mclaren 2-pack, and also a Pagani. The Speed Champions packaging always just looks so fantastic. These rendered images just do a great job of representing these supercars. The back of the packaging showcases the real-life vehicles. It's always fun looking at those images and comparing them to the actual LEGO set. That's why as we review these cars here, I actually have some more images that I downloaded off the internet, and we will compare the LEGO sets with the real-life vehicles. The front covers of the instruction manuals are all the same. They just feature the primary image of the LEGO set. As I build, I always like to see new pieces. Check out this rounded 1x1 snot brick. Also, this rounded 1x4 plate and rounded 1x3 plates. They have the holes in them as well. We've had these in 1x2, but not 1x4s and 1x3s before. I'm not sure if these are new, but they're interesting looking slope elements, and I really like these rounded 1x2 tiles as well. Once again, I'm not sure if those are new or not, but I haven't seen them very often, that's for sure. And then of course, all Speed Champions come with packs of rims, so there's actually 2 different options. You can switch them up using the wrenches that come with the vehicles as well. Starting with the Porsche, we get this minifigure right here. He's in his race suit. It says Porsche Motorsports on the front and also on the back of the torso. And it also says Porsche on his legs there as well. He comes with a hairpiece and also a black race helmet. And of course that minifigure can be fitted inside the vehicle there. There's not much interior detail, it's just a steering wheel. It actually uses some door elements on either side, and then we can put the canopy back on, or the windscreen there. The windscreen has some really nice print detailing. It says Porsche and it's got the red top there with the black stripes. Some striped sticker elements on the front there. This thing is absolutely covered in stickers. Like, it is actually ridiculous. Like, it is just covered. You actually start the construction of this thing using one of the more basic chassis elements, and then you just sort of add a whole bunch of plates and everything to it, and eventually you come up with this really neat design. I did like this here. These are the half circular jumpers, and then you put this triangular tile on top. So that was pretty interesting. I also really liked this element right here. If I remove that there, I can remove this because it's just held on by one stud, and that actually goes onto this element, or over top of this element here, and sort of frames it, and you can see all of the jumpers within the sort of flat back end, if you will. So that's pretty neat. Nice little element there, and the way that this is constructed is pretty cool. And then the back side of it actually looks really good with this large spoiler, and also the tail lights built into the back end here, like the diffuser on the back. So it's pretty neat, and there's some tail lights on the back of the spoiler as well, and then a large Porsche sticker on the back there. So it's a pretty big vehicle. You can see how long it is, and of course it's over 8 studs wide, just like all of the vehicles that we're going to be having a look at today, and all of the new Speed Champions. There you can see the front end of it. Some pretty interesting headlights there. Once again, using some of those half circular jumper elements. So overall, a really well constructed vehicle. Why don't we compare it with some real life images of this car? This thing looks sleek. Look at it. Wow, it's impressive. Obviously, a lot of those shapes are very hard to represent in LEGO, so it's not quite as rounded, and some of the components of the car are a little bit chunkier in LEGO. Specifically the spoiler, you'll see that on the back end here. It almost looks like razor thin, right? But then when you look at the LEGO model, it's a little bit thicker. The tail lights are sort of in the wrong places, but I understand why. It's just you're working with LEGO and LEGO plates, and sometimes things have to be interlocked in that way, unless it's a specialized piece. And real quickly, here is the sticker sheet. Oh my gosh, Jose built this one. Thank goodness, that is a lot of stickers. Overall, I think I'm really happy with this design here. It looks pretty good from all angles. And I think all of the vehicles that we're going to be having a look at today look pretty good, but this one actually isn't my favorite. It just has far too many stickers for me. So next up we have the Ferrari 812 Competizione. I believe I said that right. Pretty cool looking minifigure here though. I love the torso element and also just his stubble beard. And he does come with the black helmet as well. And he can be fit inside the Ferrari. This Ferrari has some more going on for it in the interior. You can see there's some seats there with some Ferrari print pieces on the headrest. I really like that. The seats are well detailed. There's also a control panel in the center there and a steering wheel, and then just a couple rounded elements there that make it look pretty good. I love the look of this one here with all of the triangular tiles and also the sticker elements that match up with those triangular tiles. This black piece on the hood there actually looks like the real life one as well. And then you can see this yellow stripe that actually, or like a racing stripe that sort of goes right down the center of the vehicle and actually lines up with that printed windscreen there as well. So that looks really good. There are some sticker elements on the back here giving some authentic detail to the vehicle as well. The front of it looks good with the sticker element there. And the wheel wells just sort of framing those vehicles. Some nice triangular plates here and a nice rounded back end there with the quarter tiles and also these sort of macaroni tiles. This was a really nice construction for the back end. There was something that confused me though. You put 1x1 stickers on here, but then on this side, these pieces are printed. So I was a little bit confused as to why this just wasn't double printed. Like, why would we get a printed element and then apply a sticker to it? That didn't really make sense to me. The rear tail lights are printed as well, and the exhaust is pretty neat. It's actually stud shooters, and this uses one of the large chassis, and then you just sort of build off of that. But these were pretty funny. They're stud shooters that represent the exhaust. I got some exposed studs from some of the brackets on the bottom there, not a big deal. Overall, this car was really well shaped. I think my favorite part of the construction is the back end here. If I just remove those back elements, you can see that this piece can actually hinge. And that was a pretty interesting construction. And that's what I always like about Speed Champions. It's just the way that everything is attached. Even this element here can be taken off as well. So you build this and then you attach it. And I just think that's just so interesting. Like, the way that it's all constructed is amazing. And I love Speed Champions because they always keep you guessing, and it's always built differently just to best represent the vehicles, right? And it's just so awesome the way that these are constructed. And there's more of that going on, like on the front of this vehicle as well. You can see this sort of hinges just to get that nice, perfect curvature of the vehicle. So everything is just so well thought out and so well constructed. It is amazing. And this is a fantastic addition to the Speed Champions collection. Definitely, I think this is my favorite vehicle of the day, but I love Ferraris, and there's just something about this one here that looks absolutely amazing, and just the way it was constructed was a whole lot of fun. So pretty excited about it. There was a lot of stickers once again, but it's just something that comes with Speed Champions. Unfortunately, that's how they get those authentic looking details. Oh, I was just about to move on to the Pagani, but I forgot to mention that these elements here to represent the headlights are printed, so that's a nice printed detail. So here's the sticker sheet. You can see it's got that yellow stripe going through a lot of the stickers, a lot of great details here. I guess some of these could have been printed, but all Speed Champion vehicles come with pretty big sticker sheets, so this one's actually not too bad. The real life vehicle, oh my gosh, it looks so good. You see the black component on the hood there? I'm not a vehicle like buff. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna tell you that I know everything about vehicles, but this car is definitely well represented by the Lego version, although I could only find yellow versions of this car on the internet. Ferraris are normally red, so Lego went with red Ferrari. But here's the back end of it. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Even like the little ridges behind the tires, you see that? That's what some of those sticker elements represent on the actual vehicle. But look at this thing. It looks so cool. What a nice looking Ferrari. I'm a Ferrari fan, even though I know I'll never own one. But overall, the shape of the vehicle and a lot of those small details that you saw in the real image are really well represented within the Lego model. So next up we have the Pagani Utopia. I love this minifigure here. He's got some interesting hair, a black helmet, and I just love his race suit with the Pagani branding. Very cool. I like that minifigure. Comes with a black helmet. It seems to be a trend. All of them come with black helmets. But this car is pretty interesting. I love the fact that they all come with printed windshields or windscreens. And when you pop that off, you can see a nice interior there done in nougat and some headrests, some curved slopes, and those are sort of offset by using the rounded 1x2 plates, a shifter in the middle there, and then some sticker detail to represent the control panel in the center and the steering wheel. Some nice curved elements here and smooth finish. I really like the build style of this one. It was really neat. Specifically the front here. When I remove these curved slopes, which are, once again, printed detail. So that's nice. Get some printed headlights. It's always good. When I remove those, you can see the skate blades in here a little better. That's pretty awesome. And then I can actually very easily remove this construction, which sort of hinges there. And you can just pull this out. Should just give it a little tug there. It's only held in by 2 clips, so there you go. And then I can remove this, which was its own separate little build as well. Just sort of give that a little tug like that there. So you can see how everything is sort of built and then installed onto the vehicle. Pretty neat. I like that. And then it's just so easy to put back together. So you can sort of like dissect these builds and like, oh, how was that Utopia built again? Oh yeah, that's how it was built. And same with the back end. The back end is crazy. This is a printed element, so that's good. That represents the crazy exhaust that the Pagani has. I don't know if they could have done that better with Lego. I think they chose to go with print just because maybe they struggled due to the space constraints, even though this thing is 8 studs wide. I think they just thought that printing was better there. Got the rear diffuser in the back there, and this whole thing is at such an interesting angle, and I love the use of these elements right here, which are, once again, the classic doors. And it's just put at that perfect angle, and you can actually remove this as well if you just pull it right out. So you can see, you can strip this thing down to pretty much nothing by removing these interesting builds. You got the tail lights on there and a printed piece right there, and then you can reinstall this. So pretty awesome. I like this printed element. It's sort of like a metallic color, like a metallic 2x2 circular tile. Hopefully I put it back on the right way. I'll have to double check. And then also we have some engine detail in here as well behind these awesome pieces, which I think are new as well. Pretty cool, like slope there. Pretty awesome. Just gets the shape of the Pagani down pretty good. So let's have a look at some real life images and compare them with this Lego set. So one thing that's noticeably different from the Lego model to these images is the color. It's like a silvery, light gray color. It also has a red interior that looks pretty sleek. When you look at the Lego model, it's dark gray. I think the silvery color definitely looks better than the Lego model, but overall the shapes and design concepts are well represented within the Lego version. You can see the real life exhaust in the back there. That's probably why they decided to go with the printed element, because look at it. It almost looks like a printed element in this image. It's actually crazy. Also, you can see the rear tail lights and also those pieces that are sort of framing the exhaust that were done using those door elements in the real life model. Once again, Lego's sort of working with the parts that they have and the constraints of size as well. But I think the miniature Lego version looks pretty good compared to the real life version. And the nice thing about the Utopia is it had a really small sticker sheet with only 8 stickers. So yeah, there's the Pagani Utopia. Let's move on to the McLaren 2-pack. So starting with the orange one, as my wife would call it, this is the McLaren F1 LM. It looks so good. I love it. This printed windscreen, once again, is awesome. Oh, I forgot to start with the minifigure. Oh well. Look at that interior detail there with the seat. Just a really cool looking seat. Got the engine, of course, behind that seat there. This doesn't open like the real one, but it is what it is. A really nice spoiler here. The back end looks pretty good as well with the exhaust and the tail lights. And then I love this detail on the side here. You've got a paddle blade in there, some Technic elements to get these at the right angle, some nice looking rims, which once again can all be swapped out, and then the front end of it, which looks pretty sleek as well. Great looking McLaren Speed Champions vehicle. And once again, just like the others, there's lots of interesting building techniques in here. Like, for example, this is hinged, so it's at that perfect angle, right? And yeah, it's just really neat. I just love building these things. It's part of the reason why I collect so many of them. I think we can very easily remove this as well. If I just tug that out, yeah, see? Just the way that these things are constructed to get like all of those perfect angles and everything is just so interesting to me. Once again, very cool. Looks like when I removed the windscreen, it actually took this element, but that should actually stay there. And then we can just pop that back out. I guess I should find the McLaren driver as well. So he comes with standard brown hair and dark blue pants, but I like how he's wearing the McLaren hoodie. That's pretty awesome. Also, we get a white helmet with this one. He can fit right inside there. Sit down on those jumpers. Sit comfortably in there, and we can put the windshield back on, and there we go. McLaren F1 LM ready to go. Here's the sticker sheet for this vehicle. Not too bad, that's for sure. If you take a look at the side of the vehicle, you can see what they tried to do with that paddle blade and also the Technic element. It looks all right. I'm not a huge fan of the exposed studs on the side of this one here, but I don't think they could have got away from doing that, right? They got some exposed studs with those wedge plates. That doesn't really look good compared to the real one. Like, the real one looks a little bit more sleek than that. The real life version of this vehicle looks really good from the back end. Working with Lego, which is sort of a square system, it's a bit square, if you ask me. But still, I think it does a pretty good job of representing the F1 LM. However, it does seem like I'm saying that for every single model that we're having a look at today. So now that we're done with that one, it's time to move on to the McLaren Solus GT. So the Solus GT comes with a female driver in the McLaren race suit, and she's actually the only minifigure today that has an alternate face. And then of course she comes with a black helmet as well, and she can fit right inside the Solus GT. This is a pretty neat looking car. This thing was constructed so differently than the others because it actually didn't have a chassis piece. They sort of fit awkwardly in there though. But hey, look at that steering wheel. It's actually a gaming controller. That's pretty neat. Not that they can grab it though. Not at all. But hey, this thing was built in such a unique way. Like I was saying, there's no chassis element. It's built with like all construction. Just the way the Technic elements were used inside there, like it was crazy. I guess there's like a small chassis style piece here, but not really. Like, it's actually so cool. And the way these wedge plates all come together and everything to create the construction of this vehicle was intense. And like you see all these interesting shapes and angles to create this vehicle. And you know what? This one here is actually different than the others. It's actually 9 studs wide. It's got some interesting detail in the back here. But yeah, it's 9 studs wide. You can see there's like a fin that's sort of surrounded by all of these other elements. That's pretty easy to extract. You can sort of take this component off, which is going to expose it. It's sort of hard for me to pull out, but I have seen this fin element before in the Lamborghini set as well, and it's used in other various speed champions. I actually built this one first, and I was like blown away by it during the live stream. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. The way that this is coming together here. The front end just looks so good, and like the way it's rounded and everything. And I like the spoiler on the back as well with the curved slopes and the 2x4 tile and those modified curved slopes there. And the tail lights look really good as well with that huge diffuser and exhaust there. The tail lights are actually the arrowhead pieces. We've seen that in a different McLaren. And the colors of this one really do stand out. The white, black, and orange just sort of pops, doesn't it? We also have some print pieces up front here. I forgot to point out there is some other print pieces in these other vehicles as well. See on the back of the McLaren here? That detail there is actually all printed on the edge of the plate. There'd be no way you could apply that to a sticker. So I'm happy that they provided details like that there. And also they did that on the Ferrari. I can't remember where it was, but there's some side of plate print detailing. Sorry, I'm going crazy. It was on the Utopia. It's right there. You see? Pretty neat. Okay, but overall, I think this one looks good. I like the color combination, black, white, and orange. But with that said, take a look at the real life images. I really like the sleek design and the color of this vehicle here. Whereas the Lego model, I'm not as big a fan. I think simple was the way to go. I don't think having the 3 different color combinations actually adds to this vehicle. I guess there's 3 here too. There's dark blue, white, and black. But I actually think white being the primary color is better than black being the primary color based on the real life images. Also, once again, in the Lego version, the spoiler is just a little bit thick in some areas. Even though I'm pointing out these things, this vehicle was just a crazy build. And here's a quick look at the small sticker sheet as well. Everybody, I'm a huge fan of the Lego Speed Champions lineup. Just because they look so good, they're all constructed so differently from one another. And I'll never own a supercar like any of these, so I may as well get the Lego sets. Also, I just find that they're reasonably priced for what they are with the brand, the unique minifigures that they come with, and just the construction of them always blows me away. So there we have the new lineup of LEGO Speed Champion cars for 2023. These ones all came out on March 1st. Let me know what you think of these sets by commenting below. Remember, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. And thank you so much for coming on by.